Friends, a year ago, a diabolical mastermind known as the Maker, an alternate universe version of Reed Richards, invaded a brand new universe and systematically prevented heroes from becoming superheroes. In 1 year, he will return. The Ultimates are assembling. Here we are. Welcome, friends, to Ultimate Countdown.
We made it to episode 3. We are still not canceled yet.
We're not
Amen.
canceled. We're not on Fox. We're not on ABC. We're not canceled.
Have we said
We're not
anything
on
though that
streaming.
would be worth canceling though?
I mean
Yeah.
that clip of you, that was like that. That was the first time I posted a fucking reel in a while. Oh, that was doing some numbers.
The edits on that, I was dying laughing. I rewatched it so many times. I was like, bro, I was like, the little images popping up. I was like, no, he did. I was like, great edits.
Oh boy.
Oh,
All
man.
right. Well, welcome, friends. It's been a while, but we've got several books we've got to talk about. In today's issue of Ultimate Countdown, we will be talking about Ultimates 7 and 8, Black Panther 11 and 12, Spider-Man 11 and 12, and Ultimate Universe 1 year in. We will be deferring this past month's issue of X-Men to next recording. I believe that we are starting off with Ultimate Black Panther. Oh, and also, a special announcement, I am caught up on Ultimate Black Panther.
Oh, praise God. Oh God, praise the Maker.
Amen. I am the Ultimate Black Panther guru, if you will. I know all about Wakanda. And
that sounds crazy coming from a white man.
Right? Yeah. And all the other special trinkets that they have, and the vibranium, and the this and the that, and do they love each other or do they not? And is the Sorcerer Supreme, is the Zabad, and the Ra, and the Khonshu. I got it all. It's fine.
Yes.
I was literally gonna say you got a PhD in Wakanda.
Yeah. So let's have somebody else
I'm not
talk
caught
about
up, by
it,
the
so they can jog
up.
my memory. They could jog my memory over what I read in the past hour.
I don't remember even talking about 10.
Oh shit, you're right. Oh my gosh. Wow, a lot did happen. Did I miss it? Oh no, I got the variant for that one. That's why it's throwing me off.
So Ultimate Black Panther number 10 opens with T'Challa having a nightmare, which is a theme after he was stabbed with a dagger of some sort. He's been having these weird nightmares, and in each nightmare, he's killing Moon Knight or somebody. He does have a conversation with Okoye. It's meaningless. It could have been better, and this is why Brian Hill needs to call me so I can help him. Nevertheless, the second scene is just Storm, Killmonger, and the Sorcerer Supreme, or her name is Inan, I believe.
Yeah.
And she's the Sorceress Supreme. The entire scene is just for them to talk about who they are, get to know each other, and see her powers. So they're on a container ship sailing back to Wakanda. We don't know anything about how they get on this container ship or why they even needed it, but they're on it. And Storm is talking to Inan and asking her why she was in captivity. That leads to, at some point, like Storm kind of powers up her fists. I guess like she's gonna force this information out of her. It was interesting. But Inan speaks freely, and she just explains that she has enemies, people who don't understand her powers. She mentioned something about a warlord that she killed or something. She summons a shark to come out of the water and then dive back in the water. So that's how she kind of shows her ability. And then at some point, a helicopter comes, shoots at them. Killmonger gets shot. And Inan, she uses the familiar powers we've seen from Doctor Strange in the MCU, like with the hand things and the stuff around the hands. And she stops the propellers on the helicopter from spinning. It falls, and the shark eats the helicopter. I Googled it, and I'm still not convinced that there's a shark big enough on Earth to swallow a helicopter whole.
The woman's using magic. I don't care.
It really bothered me, and I think I'm just irritated with this comic and everything is pissing me off.
Yeah.
So I understand that it's not a big deal. It was a nitpick because I'm irritated. That's about it. She does heal Killmonger from his gunshot wound, and she speeds up their trip and gets them to Wakanda faster. And that's it. It's kind of like a filler issue or an exposition issue. I personally think that the whole thing should have taken place in Wakanda with T'Challa. I don't think we needed to see them on a boat. I think
Mm.
that she could have displayed her powers in Wakanda. I think it would have been cooler for her to talk to him about who she is and show her powers that way, and then they discuss something there. I don't think that a title character should be missing from any of their comics unless they are incapacitated, which he was not. So fast forward to Ultimate Black Panther number 11. Do you guys want me to talk about that one too, or does someone else want to talk about it?
I can do Ultimate Black Panther 11. I liked a little more. Why? Because I finally felt progression. So, long story short, T'Challa's crew, Moon Knight's crew, they meet up and they set the terms for their duel. And I was like, okay, cool. Yes, we're finally getting somewhere. The chunk of this issue was that apparently T'Challa realized that because of the way they've been handling Wakanda, they've kind of been neglecting a part of their people, but that's the people that Moon Knight, Ra, and Khonshu have been appealing to. So this was really cool because while I was bothered by it at first, I see what they were doing. So T'Challa actually took the time to be with the people, like see what's going on outside the kingdom. That was like the clicking moment. It's like, oh, okay, well, maybe if I really want to beat Ra and Khonshu, I need to be more connected with Wakanda, even
Yeah.
outside of the palace.
He needs
And
to take the political, like make the hard political choice.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, and the ending of that issue was just like, okay, well, give me a report on everything that's happening in Wakanda. I want us to be involved. I want us to jump and I want us to be more proactive. And I was like, okay,
he's going against Okoye and Shuri at the same
yeah.
time.
Because they're like, no, but he's like, no, this is my job as a king. And I'm not gonna lie, I kind of felt it's kind of reminiscent of the first Black Panther movie, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, either the first or the second
I felt that too.
So I was like, okay, cool. I
Yeah.
like this. And then that gave me hope for the next issue. I liked 12,
It was okay.
but here's my thing, especially with these 3 issues. Yo, all 3, okay, 10 and 11 could have been jam-packed into one, and 12 and 13 could have been, the eventual 13 could have been jam-packed into one. I'm sorry, the same complaints I've had on the last episode, I'm having them here. These issues are too short. It's way too short. I'm gonna go into a little bit of, pricing. This is the variant for $4.99. I think the original is $3.99. If I'm at least paying $3.99 to $4.99, yo, at least give me a month's worth of story. Like it should not be that Ultimate X-Men. I'm sorry to go back to Ultimate X-Men, and even fucking Spider-Man. Like I'm getting a full month's worth of story from all the other books besides Black Panther. I'm sorry.
There is some pacing issues with this book that I feel, because now we're actually Black Panther and Spider-Man are both the 2 books that have completed a full year of story. And they are also the 2 books, I mean, Ultimates also does this, but each issue represents a month. Because they do actually say like December 2024 at the bottom of the page, right? Or something like that. Like they say the month that it takes place in.
I could be wrong. I don't think I've seen it, or unless I'm missing it. The only thing I
Yeah, it does right here.
It does.
I don't know if that's just the regular.
Look, you're right.
It on the cover.
It could just be a publication thing, but at least for Ultimates and
you're right.
And Ultimate Spider-Man, like they make it very clear.
That's it. Yeah.
They make it clear with their dialogue too in Spider-Man, at least.
Yes, they are being.
Black Panther. Not in the positive way. when you realize that time has passed, because I think in the issue on the boat or the issue after the boat or something, she says, "We've been traveling together for weeks and you haven't said something," or something like that.
Yeah,
And you're
I remember
like,
that.
this isn't the next day. Like, you don't feel the time through what they're doing. I'm not a professional writer, but I've written enough fiction to to have learned that I have to justify the words that I put on the page. I feel like I've said
Yeah,
this
Yeah.
before, and it doesn't feel like it's justified. Like, a lot of it is just kind of telling us things that have happened. Some of them I don't even remember. I would have to like read number 1 again and keep going.
Yeah.
And it's like we're being told things that I think he could have just shown. Like, even
yeah,
when he talks about his nightmares and him confronting whatever he's visiting, I feel like he says something about like something spreading inside of him. Or honestly, I think maybe I'm getting into 12, but we don't see any of that.
I
We
think
just see them talking about it.
if I can cut in for a sec,
Mhm.
I think I know that I agree. This book does not have enough page real estate.
yeah,
We're because the success of the movie has made Black Panther like the property extremely successful.
yes,
But not just the character. It has made the world of Black Panther popular.
yeah,
So look, if you're just a regular average Joe now and you're walking into a comic book shop and you're going to pick up a Black Panther comic, you're not expecting to just see Black Panther. You're expecting to see Okoye. You're expecting to see Shuri, especially Shuri. Like
yeah,
you're expecting to see all of these different things. Killmonger. You're expecting to see all these elements. But the problem is that there's just not enough room for all of these elements for this specific book. We're seeing the turmoil and the push and pull of Black Panther being a king and warrior at the same time, while also dealing with this ridiculous ruined world. We've got Ra and Khonshu, who are probably the most interesting part of the book. And we've got Okoye and Shuri just sort of like being there. And honestly, they're whining. I'm not into Okoye and Shuri's characters at all for this book. They are whining. That is it. They serve to maybe I'm getting this wrong, but in my okay, thank you. I appreciate that. Like in my view and in my reading, they serve to just be like, oh no, T'Challa, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. That's it.
That's ridiculous too, because they can do so much more. They've been stripped of the extra things that were added to them after the movie came out.
yeah,
Um, and I didn't even like those additions. I kept saying like too much of T'Challa has been stripped away to make Shuri, and then to make Okoye this amazing warrior. And I'm like, you're still not even using them. And I was pissed off. Like, we might as well talk about 12.
yeah.
Um,
Let's talk about
I'm
yeah.
gonna have like the worst opinion. I'm like a traitor, I feel, to women when I talk about Black Panther. But
Uh-oh. Let the chopper fly again. Oh, okay, let's go. Let's do it.
in issue 12, we see this. It was just so, it was better than, what we've been getting, but it was so anticlimactic. Instead of there being like the fight that I felt we were finally getting, T'Challa like what grabs like whacks his hand away. Like, instead of fighting the guy, it was like the god, and then were the two who are the two guys behind him? Aren't they Ra and Kansu? What the hell is going on in this
Yeah.
comic?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. You mean like those mysterious figures in the
The
back?
two guys, and then there was like the guy with, I guess, Moon Knight, the god, with the thing on his face, and then the two black men behind him. Who the hell are those two guys? I don't know. I thought they were gonna merge. I don't know what the hell I thought was gonna happen in this
Yeah.
issue. But
Oh, I
like
know what you're
it
talking
was
about.
three
Yeah,
of
I don't know who
them.
they are either.
It
Yeah.
was three. They've been like doing the bidding of Kansu. I mean,
Yeah.
Moon Knight the whole time, and then he shows up. T'Challa like knocks his mask off, and then he feels like that shouldn't have been able to happen. And then T'Challa just like grabs his hand and he's about, somehow he defeats him. And then he feels like he needs to kill him. And before he can kill him, Inan comes, our sorceress supreme, and she stops him. And she says something that I've already forgotten, and I read the comic like 45 minutes ago.
She basically
Like
introduced
she
herself.
says,
That's about it.
I don't know who this moon guy is. It doesn't matter. What matters is you have a vibranium problem, and it might not be too late to save everything you believe in.
Contrived, lame. I'm sorry. This book is the weakest link.
It's so sad.
I don't get what's going on here because
it's trying to do too many things.
I don't even think so. I don't think it's doing enough. It's telling us too much because even what she said at the end, you have a vibranium problem. We should have known that. We as the reader should already know he has a vibranium problem. It should be spreading on his skin. Like Shuri said that something is spreading in him like a virus. We should literally see his body changing because like in one of his dreams, he's like turning into the Black Panther.
Yeah.
We should see like his, like you ever see, like we see it in movies, somebody gets cut by a dagger, their veins start turning black. There's a big crater in their side. He should be going to the Vodukon lady to get healing for it and it just won't heal. If you want to take up real estate in a comic, show me that. I should already know. Shuri shouldn't have to tell me a vibranium issue is spreading through him like a virus. I should have seen that 6 issues ago, and he should be nearly completely black.
Yeah.
Like, forget the suit. He should be writhing and spitting at night with Okoye shaking him and waking him up like you're scaring the hoes up in the palace because you are foaming at the mouth, and he could wake up with no memory of it. And then when he goes to the doctor, they're telling him like this is vibranium, like there's vibranium literally in your system and we can't purge it out of you. Like we have the most advanced technology, but we can't get that out. Like give us more than just her saying that in a word bubble.
And the thing is too is like I feel like the pieces are there. I think that's the most aggravating part. The pieces are there. Like we see the way the vibranium is like affecting him in his dreams and stuff. You got Doctor Strange who's coming in, who's supposedly helping. You have what I believe is a pretty good antagonist. You have what I believe is a pretty decent counsel around like T'Challa. Like they're there. The problem is just like it's not gelling, or there's not enough space, or he's not using the page count to like really make it gel together. Because I'm not gonna lie, like I wasn't expecting Homegirl to come up immediately and be like, "Hey, you have a vibranium problem." It's like, bitch, what?
Yeah,
So
that was cool.
It's not coming together the way it's supposed to. Now, I don't know. Again, this is me getting into my tinfoil hat bag. I don't know. Maybe it's because of the fact that we hit 12. We have to try to cramp things together. I don't know. Maybe we did kind of low key get word of what we think is a crossover happening in the next couple months. Maybe they're trying to speed run to that, or maybe Hill is not doing a good job of coordinating with that. So the story's suffering. I don't know what it is, but it's not working for me. I'm sorry. Like I feel like if I was reading these last 3 issues back to back, it would have hit.
Yeah.
But if I'm reading it month to month, I'm sorry. I'm trying to cut them slack. I love Blade. I love Batman and the Outsiders. But
back.
I don't know.
Mark, you've been characteristically silent.
So I'm not caught up on it, but I was browsing
The end.
issue 10 and this and that. And I don't know about the whole shark helicopter thing. I don't want to get into the science behind sharks because I love all sharks that aren't named Jeff. I feel like it's just a megalodon.
Topical.
Like, you never know. Yeah. But the whole vibranium thing, because I was actually browsing 11 also and seeing like the goo and the spreading. I feel like that's a recycled concept because that's almost like the comic book version of Extremis for Iron Man.
Yeah.
So I was like, we've seen this poison to an extent. This was more of an upgrade for Tony.
Look, we see it's the Ultimate Universe, and we see like these different like merging concepts anyway. And so, look, if it is like this comics version of Extremis, That's kind of cool. That's a neat observation. But like, look, Logan is our Winter Soldier. So
Again,
I'm
yeah.
okay. I'm okay with like
Yeah. Well, no,
that.
I just see it from the standpoint of like the pacing, like this, and that. It's like if you're gonna be inspired by other stuff that has happened, like the writing should match that. Like I don't know. I'm like just browsing it. I'm like, ooh, this is really good art. Then I'm reading some of the dialogue, and then I'm looking at like how, and I'm like, because Ben brought up the fact that like, yeah, after Black Panther the movie, like the stock in Black Panther rose, and it's like that for everybody. Let's face it, Iron Man was
Didn't
a
rise.
B-list
It's
character.
skyrocketed.
Yeah, and you have a new jumping on point with a whole new universe for Black Panther, and you're not gonna like put all your eggs in one basket. You're not gonna put 110% into it and make it like. I was excited for her. Like I was like, yo, Black Panther. I've read a couple runs, but I'm like, oh, I mean, like I stopped after issue 7 or 8, and I'm like, I'll trade weight. I still get the issues for the collection, but I was like, I'll binge read them. But it's like
It's a hard read.
there's a lot in this though, because you got Storm, you got Moon Knight, you got Killmonger.
They just don't
you
all
have
work
so
together.
many like
That's the problem.
yeah, it's too much
They're not doing
for a start.
anything.
And you mentioned the whole thing about the stock of Black Panther. What I hate seeing, and I try not to pay too much attention to reviews, but I do anyways. I see so many people giving this book grace, but at the same time, for every one person or two people that gives it grace, there's at least 3 or 4 that's like, yo, what's going on with the pacing? I can't keep up with this anymore. I want to like this. And the problem here is like, we've run into the same issue with mainline Black Panther. Now we in the red, yo. We in the red. The only saving grace we've had, and I talked about it like a month ago on the channel, is Cheryl Eaton wrote herself a mean Blood Hut Black Panther tie-in. Saving grace number 2, homie from Avengers, Judd McKay, who I just gave a bunch of shit. I take it all back. He wrote himself a mean Black Panther issue. But those 2 highlights in the midst of the not so great performing mainline runs, and now this Ultimate Black Panther run, my heart hurts. My heart hurts, yo.
It's embarrassing.
It's not good. This is my first time following Black Panther on a month to month.
This is like my 4th time, and I'm ready
Yeah,
to
same.
like
My
start
first.
taking hostages.
Like it's not looking good. Like I like Hill, but hey, 2 things can be true. Not every writer that I like hits it at 100% all the time, and that's okay.
I feel like he's purposefully holding back. It's almost like he doesn't trust the audience to read the words that he's putting on the page. It's like, do you not think that we can handle more than 2 word bubbles per panel? Like we can, we'll read it. Like, does he think it feels like Tyler Perry writing a movie and thinking the audience is so dumb that we have to see a man jump out of a cake? I don't know, like whatever, to like display some sort of level of ridiculousness or show a man getting hit by a freaking bus 2 seconds after he pops out of a car, just for like emotional impact. It feels like that, or like an artist who's painting and they just won't get out of the middle of the canvas. They won't get to the edge of the freaking canvas. It's like you can move out of this one little space and trust the audience with more. We will read all the words. I don't think we need all these summaries coming from Shuri and this weird dialogue coming from Okoye. She has to be more than his bed warmer and the random woman that stands next to him. Also, like with that whole battle scene with the army showing up, it was very like medieval with the flags. It was like a modern medieval type look. It reminded me of some of the old movies I've seen, like The King or like Game of Thrones or something. So I thought that was cool. T'Challa has a stealth suit. If I'm T'Challa, I'm walking through the ranks of them, looking around, seeing what they got going on. I thought that would have been so cool for him to be amongst them and for that the guys to be like, oh, well, he's not here. He's a coward. And he's like in his stealth suit standing right next to them. Like, we're not even getting any fun. Like, have fun with it. T'Challa has all this technology, show us. And even with his hover motorcycle, they had him, I wrote this down, it's another nitpick. They had him deactivate the location thing in it. I'm like, I think T'Challa can like build his own hover motorcycle. Like he used to be an engineer when Ta-Nehisi Coates wrote him. He could build his own thing that they don't even know about. He could have his own studio with
There's no
anything
kinetic
he wants.
blasts. There's nothing.
Like,
I don't
have
know.
fun with him.
Yeah.
It's pissing me off.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, like I'm gonna keep following this.
Of course.
I'm gonna keep following because I don't want to say we have to, but just like I want to see how this progresses because eventually everything's gonna converge together.
Yeah.
And I hate the fact that this book has slipped. It's still selling well, but it ain't in top 10 anymore. 60 out of 200 is not bad. But when you were
But
like
the
in
drop?
the top, but the drop is crazy.
They need to really hold a tighter grip on these writers, in my opinion. For books like Black Panther, this book actually sells more than the main Black Panther title by like almost double. Like based on what I see from League of Comic Geeks, like the number of people who pull it is almost double what I see when it's just a normal Black Panther run. Somebody needs to sit down and tell them like what does the editor do at Marvel?
But we had this conversation already. Editors aren't editing.
My God.
No, they're definitely
No.
not.
That's
They're
not
not
no.
they're not editing. So well,
That's all I'm saying though, just in case Marvel wants to hire me. So that's all I'm saying on that. Like,
I'll work
Marvel,
for free.
like,
I
my DMs
swear
are
to
open.
God.
I won't. I like to buy stuff, so I'll take a 10% pay cut from whatever they offer normal people.
Ladies and gents, let's move on to the next book. Yeah.
Ultimate Spider-Man. Yay.
Yeah.
2 really good issues.
One nitpick, just gonna get this out of the gate. She's not in the book, really. Like,
no,
you know,
she's in the one page.
She's in one
standing
page.
there.
Yeah,
it
she's
counts.
standing there, and she was on a variant cover or whatever. Anyway, issue number 11, we see that Spider-Man is on patrol and he's looking for where's Harry? Where the hell is Harry? Harry doesn't show up. Spider-Man stops a bank robbery. Oh, but also face punched by Mr. Negative and all of his goons. And stop me if you heard this one. He gets beaten up real bad, and then he and MJ have a really important talk. MJ wants to know if things are going to be safe. They've got stuff to lose, and this is I love Hickman. Like, I like Hickman with this. This is good.
Yeah,
this is good. Tell me when we need to run. Will you know when we need to run? Tell me when that happens. It's an important conversation for a married couple to have, coming from a single guy. And so, as if I know what the hell I'm talking about, Mark, has your wife ever said, "Tell me when we need to run"?
No, but more or less when I need to run because I buy too much stuff.
Okay, great. So
every other week is what you're saying.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Quarterly.
Yeah. And then we get the reveal that the Kingpin is pissed. He wants control over territories. These Sinister Six are not really doing so hot. But we get the reveal that Ben Parker knows that Peter is Spider-Man. He's like, I don't want to know any more info. I just want to know that, like, you're safe and that you know when shit's about to get bad, like, you know what to do. Am I more or less correct on all of this?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the gist of the issue. The more specific stuff that, like, from the comment, like, I really enjoyed Peter Parker's Star 67 to call Otto Octavius to see where Harry is. He's like, I still don't want to know my number.
Yeah.
He's like,
and then in that same
like,
thing, I gotta go. I'll call you back, or you could call me back. I don't have your number. Like,
yeah. I also like that we're kind of getting Peter Parker getting his sarcasm and quips now when he's in the middle of fighting.
Yeah.
Like, I like that he's kind of getting into that's kind of like the
man bun
that we
all
have.
that stuff.
Yes. Oh, the man bun line sent me. The conversation with MJ, she's like, so how is it going? Like, because she noticed he's always getting beat up, and he's like, have you ever been a fight? He's like, yeah, 8th grade, Flash Thompson beat me up. And I'm like, at least he admits I thought the conversation was going a different way, where she's like, well, maybe you should take some classes, maybe you should practice fighting. Instead, she's like, are we safe?
And not just that, but also, like, it didn't feel great when you got hit back then. it probably doesn't feel great when you're getting
No.
hit now.
Yeah, I think he even brings it up that he can heal. So he's like, yeah,
Yeah.
he's healing. Like, so it's like
Yeah.
big differences, but it's like that dynamic where, you know, like the conversations feel real.
Yeah.
They don't feel like comic book conversations, if that makes sense. It's not hokey and like just unrealistic. Like I could see if someone was in that situation, that's a conversation you would have. The main thing too is Ben figured out who Peter Parker was, but then he even asked, "Does Jay Jonah know?" And he's like, "No, but if
He's
he's
smart.
anything, he'll find it.
Yeah,
Yeah, he'll
figure
figure
it
it
out.
out. He's just as smart as me,
Yeah.
if not smarter. He'll figure it out." So it's like one of those things where it's like,
And easier to piss off.
Especially-
He doesn't say that, but
Yeah.
easier to piss off.
no.
Yeah.
And the foreshadowing was really bad on this because he's like, "I've lived a good life. I'm old." Like I'm just like, all right, what are you getting at? I was just waiting for the, with great power. I was waiting for the great power, great responsibility. Like, and then I was like, oh no, he's dying soon.
We already have that line. We had it from Green Goblin.
know, but if we hear it from Ben, though,
I think if we hear it from Ben, it will be meaningless.
Yeah, I don't want to hear from him.
I don't
he
want to
still
hear
dies.
it from
If
him.
he still dies, he dies. It's dry.
Yeah.
If he
I
dies,
don't
he
think
dies.
he's gonna
It's like,
die.
regardless.
I think
I don't
Jonah's
think so
gonna
either.
die.
There's a few people that are going to die, I think, before this run is over.
Yeah.
But I think right now, from just because I don't want to jump to 12, but 11 and 12, not a lot of action.
Right.
But it's one of those things where it's like you have a lot of characters, a lot of conversations, a lot of moving parts, and the balance is there. And there's no throwaway lines, no throwaway conversations. Everything has a purpose behind it to progress
It's all
the story.
moving the arrow forward. It's all important.
Yeah, I
Yes.
want to go back to the MJ and Peter conversation.
You want to fool
Again.
around?
Oh,
I was
absolutely.
gonna make that. I was gonna keep that.
Absolutely.
I wasn't gonna
All right.
mention that.
But what I like about it is that it's very real because I feel like MJ, she doesn't want to come off as like the worrisome, overbearing wife at all, but also at the same time it's kind of taking a toll on her because like for all these up until now, you would think she'd be like, yeah, it's all good, just it's all good. But like now, I really appreciate this issue coming when it did because then we really get a chance to realize, okay, she's kind of worried. She's probably putting on a face, to make it seem like, okay, he's doing his thing, but no, like, well, if you die, this is real life. Who gonna help me with these kids?
Yeah.
Paul? So I really do appreciate that. And the thing with Uncle Ben as well, like, I kind of like how serious he was during that conversation because it's like, I think all of us, at least all of us was caught up. We were kind of like, oh, what the fuck? Why would you tell the kids and the wife? Because in our brain, we're thinking, whenever the family members of the superhero knows that everybody they love is in danger. But like, I kind of like that we kind of got that snap back to kind of like comic book reality that we know. It's like, hey, buddy, this action can possibly have consequences, and are you ready to deal with said consequences? So that
That
was
is the
reading that shit on
power
the
and
bus.
responsibility.
I was
There
like,
it is.
oh, that was good job.
A+.
But A plus issue right there. A plus.
Also, my thing about MJ is I feel like they built up like she can kind of take care of herself. Like I didn't get anything from the conversation where I don't think she's overly worried per se, because you figure we're getting an MJ and Peter that have married, been in a relationship for a long time. The trust has been built up type of thing.
Can I just say something? I don't know how they're affording their apartment.
Listen, this is a fictional world. That's why.
Yeah, like
Fine.
I ain't gonna hold you. I thought the same exact thing. I get a little jealous when I see him in that apartment.
This is the nicest place Peter Parker has ever lived.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
Yeah.
The doors open properly. The door handles work. The windows shut and lock.
Good view.
There's sheets on the bed.
Yeah. I also
Food in the fridge.
Thriving.
I do want to say this. Like, I'm happy issue 12 happened because I don't know. Like, Sinister Six. didn't really do much for me in mainline, and like they were kind of trickling in the background up
Yeah.
until now. So I know we're gonna get to 12, but like the fact that 12 happened the way it did,
Yeah.
now I take these guys seriously.
Yeah.
My fault. I was not familiar with your game. Keep going.
Yeah. Yeah. So why don't we hop into 12?
I loved issue 12. I feel like it was more Mary Jane centered because I
Sure.
feel like a lot of the focus has been on Peter and everything else that's been happening around him, and rightfully so. But this is the part where we really get to be more invested in Mary Jane's world. Her family dynamics are shit, especially like with the sister. That was a very tumultuous couple panels right there. Like for 1 second it was up, the next second it was down. They trying to fuck, Ben, like apparently he's like, the hot item now because, Aunt May is allegedly gone. So I like that. He's over here trying to be a wingman for Jameson, which was cool. We got to see Jameson even be more of a mentor. So I keep forgetting his son's name.
Richard.
Richard, yeah, that's the tip of my tongue. It was to see more of a mentor to Richard. So, like, honestly, it felt like a
This is
typical
family.
family.
This is Christmas.
It's a typical family. Like,
This is family. Be happy. It's
perfect
Christmas.
family.
It's
Yeah,
okay.
this
It's
is
fine.
cool. Yeah, that's what I liked about it. Like, this was very real. Like, it paired with 11. This is a lot of like real shit.
Yeah.
So,
so then there's this page that says happiness is being surrounded by the people you love.
Yeah.
It's a great sentiment.
So I was like, okay, cool. This is fine. And then
Boom.
and I was also wondering, like, because the first time I read it, I was like, Peter kind of like
he didn't say much.
He didn't say much. And then I feel like they duped us a little bit, because
fear is the knowing
no.
that it can be all taken away.
This is what I love, right? Because if you just read, if you didn't know any better, she was over. But come on, we all know comics. I'm over here thinking it's just ads. Oh no, oh buddy, it gets worse.
Is it bad that the second I saw the first page where it was like happiness and failure, I was like, okay, who's gonna die in the next page?
I was
expecting like freaking Kingpin to come crashing through, or freaking Black Cat, something. I was like, something's gonna go wrong, and I'm like, oh no, it's fine. Then I got to that page and I turned to the next one. I'm like, oh, that's how we're just gonna end it with just that little. I was like, man,
the reveal is that Harry is missing.
Yeah.
And
I don't want to interrupt you, but my fault. I'm not gonna lie. When May kept just doing, mommy, Gwen keeps calling, and then when we flipped over from what we thought was the ending, and she kept, I was like, yo, bro, what's going on? My heart was doing this on the bus, y'all.
Yeah.
My heart was just like, yo, what happened?
But I brought up before about how like they're keeping the timing and stuff. The sentence of her just being like, I haven't heard from, it's been 6 weeks. And I'm like, that's how we know there's like a month.
Yes.
It's like a little thing. That little sentence just shows, hey, look, it's been 6 weeks.
But also at the beginning of the book, it does say like December right here.
Oh, I know, but it's different saying.
You're right. Like it's being more
conversations in the story, concrete. Actually.
Yes.
Yeah, at least from a story standpoint, they're giving us a timeline, not being like, hey, by the way, it's the next month now. It's November. It's like, or it's December now. It's like, no, but when they're talking about it, and
he was missing for 6 days, not weeks.
Oh, 6 days. I thought it was weeks. Oh,
yeah.
Listen, I didn't get the physical copy yet. I was reading it on my tablet legally.
To piggyback off of that, that whole 6 months, the whole 6 days thing, like it hits harder, especially when you read it back to back, because when we're reading 11, we're just thinking Harry's just off fucking us somewhere. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah.
But then when she says, yo, it's been 6 days, and it was like, oh, wait, what, buddy, what's going on here? Because then we get the stinger that this motherfucker Peter's been gone. And I was confused at first. I was like, wait, what happened? Then you go back to 11. The last thing we saw from Peter, he gets into a car.
The Craven-mobile.
The Craven-mobile.
Mm-hmm.
Side tangent. I liked the Craven movie.
I did too.
I liked it.
Some editing choices, maybe some pacing. Like I would have moved some stuff around more. I would have added in some stuff like Spider-Man related just to make it more cohesive. I thought it was really good. I thought Like
Not
I was like,
bad.
damn, this is actually really good. I was like, if this came out before all the other Sony villain verse movies, we'd be having different conversations right now about that universe.
Yes.
But it came out. But it came out after Morbius, so
yeah. But
I ain't
yeah,
gonna talk about Madam Web. We know my opinions on that movie.
10 out of 10 movie. But anyways, 12
Banger.
was good.
I need
So-
13.
12 was a
I
banger.
need
So
13 now already.
Yeah, so Harry and Peter are trapped by Craven. He's taking shit seriously.
Yeah.
He's pumping them with drugs. He's got them in chains. Doesn't look pleasant.
I hope I want to see how Harry got captured. I hope that's one of the first couple panels in issue 13.
That would be cool.
Yeah. So but yeah, that was
Just because
very
like
cool.
the idea of seeing more of Harry's ruthlessness and then it just not working, I think it's like
Yeah.
would be pretty tight.
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to issue 13.
Hell yeah.
That's coming out in a few
Yeah.
weeks. Anything else that we want to say about Ultimate Spider-Man before we move into the Ultimates?
Nah.
I have a
Great
question though.
solutions. What's up?
So it's in New York, just like the Ultimates, and I'm like, why aren't they hitting them up? Why
Well, the
not?
Ultimates is not really in New York. They're in a satellite.
Yeah, but I mean, when
They're in space. The Ultimates are in space.
when they go down, but when they go down to the city, because we'll get to the Ultimates because there's some New York related stuff, and I'm like, why aren't they just be like, hey, Spider-Man, hey, Peter, we're in space.
I mean, I think they
Like the moon?
basically already said, like back in issue like 5 or 6 or something, that they were like just going to check in and then they were going to go F off and be like, hey,
Yeah,
we'll check in on you again in a little bit.
and they didn't. It's
And
been a
they
while. I feel like they
didn't.
should have
It's
checked
been a
in sooner.
while. Well, again,
Really?
Tony dropping the ball.
And Tony's dropped right now. My fault.
Yeah.
I was gonna make an iron joke, but it's in the issue, so when we get to that, I can make that joke.
Yeah.